Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Trucking from Scratch with David McGill. And in today's video, we're going to cover 5 common mistakes I see amongst new trucking business owners and how you can avoid making those same mistakes yourself. Now, the first mistake is buying equipment before you actually learn the business. Now, you might be thinking this isn't a very common problem, but I will say it's all too common that I'll talk to somebody who has either purchased a truck or a truck and trailer, and they consult with me to find out what their next step should be. Now, it's your money, so you could choose to spend it however you want, but just as a business person, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to spend a lot of your money up front before you really understand what it is that you're getting into. So how do you avoid a situation like this? So I'll share with the public what I share with these people in private. I think it's very important that you really do your due diligence, do your research on the front end before you actually go out and spend your money on all of this expensive equipment. Because what you might find out is you've bitten off more than you can chew, and you've wasted your money. So if you do the research on the front end, you might decide that trucking isn't something that you want to get involved with. So if that's the case, I'd rather you find that out before you invest your hard-earned money. Now, another common mistake that I see with new trucking business owners is overpaying for trucking insurance. Now, trucking insurance is going to be one of, if not the highest overhead costs you have with running your business, but there's things that you can do to help minimize the cost. Now, you're going to want to make sure that your drivers, whether it be you as an owner-operator or drivers that you're hiring, have clean driving records and clean MVRs, because the driver's driving record is going to have a major impact on your insurance premium. Another thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the drivers have sufficient experience for your insurance company. So there's some insurance companies out there who may require you to have, 2 or 3 years of driving experience before they'll insure you at a favorable rate. Now, I've seen some insurance companies who they'll insure a driver with less than their minimum requirements. However, that shoots the price of the insurance quote through the roof. And the last thing you can do to make sure you're not overpaying for your insurance is make sure you have good credit. Now, it might seem odd, but there's some insurance companies out there who they factor in the owner's credit as they're determining your insurance quote. So the better your credit, the better quote you'll have. Now, the third mistake that I see new trucking business owners making is having a very unorganized back office. So there's been too many times that I've been working with somebody and the back office is a mess, meaning the files are all over the place. There's no real good system in place to keep things organized. So then when it's time to find important documents during an audit, for example, it's nearly impossible to furnish the information to the auditors. Now, there's a couple ways you can stay organized. Personally, I like to save things to the cloud, so I'm a big fan of services like iCloud and Dropbox. That's pretty much how I archive all of my documents. Now, I know some people out there don't really trust the cloud, and they're a little bit more old school where they prefer to have actual physical papers and file cabinets and things like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that if you're going to go the file cabinet route, you just make sure that you have things organized in a way that'll be easier for you to find later. So things like your driver files, shipping documents, contracts, different things like that, you're going to want to make sure that stuff is clearly labeled and easily accessible when it's time for you to provide that information to an auditor. Now, the fourth mistake, and probably my biggest pet peeve, is new trucking business owners not knowing their numbers. Now, it's my opinion that you can't run a successful business without knowing what your numbers are. You got to know how much is coming in and how much is going out in order for you to make business decisions. Rate per mile, total revenues, expenses like fuel costs, driver pay, fuel taxes, equipment payments, all of these things impact your bottom line. So if you don't have a firm grasp or understanding on what those things are in your business, then there's no way that you can have a firm grasp on what your net profit or bottom line ultimately is. Now, if you know that this stuff is important, but you're not quite sure where to start, then you can check out my last video where I actually gave 4 ways to track your revenue and expenses for your trucking business. Now, last but not least, the fifth mistake that I see amongst new trucking business owners is neglecting their equipment maintenance. Now, if you spent your career as a company driver, then chances are you didn't really have to worry about your equipment maintenance because that was something that the company that you work for typically handled. But now in this new role as a trucking business owner, those things are now in your hands. You're going to want to make sure that you're staying up on your maintenance at all times. Now, one of the easiest ways to stay up on your maintenance is make sure you're doing regular oil changes with quality products like Shell Rotella's T6 synthetic engine oil. Using the T6 is going to help you get more out of your trucks by possibly improving your fuel mileage as well as protecting your engine. And the biggest benefit of the T6 is it helps keep your maintenance costs down. Now, like I said earlier, as a new trucking business owner, it's important that you understand your numbers, and keeping your maintenance costs down is what's ultimately going to help increase your bottom line profits. Now, if you want to learn where you can find Shell Rotella's products, then check out the link in the description below. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. Also, if there's anything you want to add, go ahead and leave that in the comments as well. Now, if you think this information can help somebody you know, make sure you share this video with them. And as always, thanks again for watching.